Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for tuning onto this channel. Thank you for clicking onto the channel. And let's have a discussion. I just want to have a rant. I've seen what's happening in Tunisia, right? But what's happening in Tunisia happens all over the world. You know, remember when COVID started, how in China they wanted to flip the coin and blame the Africans for COVID? In America, we know how society has always been there. It's anti-African Americans, which is just Africans. In Europe, it's the same story. You know, these days they will even allow other people to go there, like Indians and Asians and whoever to go there, and they're working so hard to stop Africans from entering even England, right? Now, why is this? Are the Arabs racist towards Africans? Are the Europeans racist towards the Africans? Are the Asians or the Chinese racist towards Africans? All right. The quick answer is yes, right? That's the quick answer. But the real answer is yes and no. Okay? There are certain groups that are not racist. You know. However, they hate how things turn out. So let's look at this, right? The guy in Tunisia is saying crime is going up. Okay? Crime is going up. Let's study that. Because right now you have Tunisia is on the path, route to Europe. A lot of African young people are leaving Africa to go into Europe. So they're not living with money. You know, they have to make money along the way and do whatever they can to survive along the way. So you get to Tunisia. So Tunisia is not like a country that's like super rich. You know, there are countries like Kenya and other countries that have a bigger economy than Tunisia. But they look after their people very well, and the environment is cleaner. You know, you can't take that away from them. They just do. The roads, they make sure they get the best contractors to do the roads. You know, not just because they want to win an election and do some shoddy works. They don't do that. Don't blame them for that. You know, so if young people are leaving Africa trying to get into Europe and they have to go through Tunisia, and these young people got no money, got no food, when they get to Tunisia, what are they doing to survive? They're finding work. What if they can't find work? Because it's not like work is available like when you're in some parts of Europe, the US, and Australia. It's not like that. You know, so they're doing something to survive, to try to get to Europe. I can't confirm this, but I would think if you're trying to survive, like Tupac once said, you know, my stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a place to snatch. That's exactly what they're gonna do. Okay, so I don't think everything is about racism. Sometimes it's just people don't want the outcome, certain outcomes, and certain groups tend to bring out certain outcomes in society. And unfortunately, that group just happens to be us. Now, I looked in America, I think in my so-called Miami Beach. You know, black people there, almost like every day, someone is getting shot at the beach. You know, and at this beach, I didn't even see white people there. It was just black people. Someone gets shot, they start running out, and they were all black people, from what I saw. Maybe one white person, but it was majority black people. Who was shooting each other? Again, black people. So when people see that, but now we can get that same sort of behavior. You go to England, who's stabbing who? Okay, we can say, oh, everyone is stabbing what? Okay, let's look at the numbers. What's the population of black people in England? And what's the population per capita according to your demographic of stabbings? What you're going to get, it's higher among black people. You know, let's come to Melbourne, Sydney. similar stuff was happening. Not necessarily stabbing, but just chasing people. And kids going crazy, just acting like crazy. These things were happening. Who is the perpetrator? When you see the videos, what you're gonna see? What would be the common thing in these videos? It's black people. So who wants that in their country? People don't want to live like that. If you're used to living like that, living in fear, most people don't want to live like that. Most people don't live like that. So, how did we get to this place? This is what I'm going to tell you, and I'm just going to be very honest. The thing is, we've lost our alignment. We've lost our alignment with Mother Nature. We've lost our alignment, our natural alignment with life. We've just lost it. You know, we are the only people in the whole world whose spirituality, religion, if you want to put it that way, has been wiped out entirely by fallen religions. You know, and we are the only people in the world where a majority of us don't like our ancestors. We hate our ancestors. Oh, they practice witchcraft. Oh, they did this. Really? If witchcraft was so bad and so strong, how come it didn't rescue them? Because that's not true. Because they were not bad people. Absolutely not bad people. Instead of us thanking those people, we've turned around, we've helped, we've believed so much in the garbage that these Europeans have fed us that we've turned everything around and against our ancestors. And guess what? And we are paying the price for it. Because I'm going to give you an example. And not every African tribe or whatever lived like the Maasai, right? But let me just give an example. But it's similar to that. The Maasai or the Himba tribe. You go and visit these people. You see how they live. You look at the Maasai. The Maasai are some of the richest people in the world. People can argue and say, how is that? Okay, let's find out how many cows each Maasai has. You know, one of the I think might be O'Shea, was in Kenya, at a bank in Kenya. The Maasai guy comes there wearing his sandals, his Maasai gear. This guy was at the bank taking out about 3K, and he thought 3,000 American dollars, and he thought he was balling. This Maasai guy comes up and he takes out $500,000, and he takes that money to go back to his village where it's shared depending on how many cows everyone had contributed, and the money is within the community. And that's why I'm saying they're some of the richest people in the world, because with some Maasais, when a child is born, they already got about 100 cows from birth. If you want to learn about something about generational wealth, you don't have to look to the Jews, look to the Maasai. Now, on average, Maasais live up to 100 years old. On average. All right? Some people die before that. Some people even live up to 110, 115 years old. Okay? Let's go see how these people are living. Are they killing each other? No, they are not. You know, are they misbehaving badly? No, they're not. They're secluded. They're not part of this society that has been created. The only thing they can do if they wanted to, look at how the kids are brought up. Kids are not brought up in the Maasai culture, not listening to their elders. You know, these kids at a very young age, they're fighting off lions. You know, they already know what their job is. You know, at a very young age. They've been taught because they listen to their parents. Now, you move especially in Africa, we still have that, but also it's eroding. That sort of culture now, in the general public, it's actually eroding. Because now, the way people behave, you know, black people misbehaving in places like the US and places like the Europe, that is now what all these kids have been attracted to in Africa. And that's how everyone wants to behave, because they think that's the way of life. When it's actually far from the truth. So, no one wants to be connected with people who are behaving like animals. No one wants to be connected with people who have all the resources in the world, but they are poor. You got nothing to be proud of. Why would anyone want to be connected with you? So if these Arab countries say, we are part of we're Arabs and not Africans, everyone gets in their feelings. Oh, listen to what they're saying. Nah, look at yourself. Why is it that young people are trying to leave their countries to go to Europe? I'll tell you why. When the countries they are leaving are some of the wealthiest countries in the world. The continent is the wealthiest continent in the world. And young people, that is value in itself. And we got value trying to run away from the continent. Why are these young people leaving? Because they've been fed a lie. My wife was in Italy a couple of years ago, and most of these people go to Italy and live like crap. They live worse lives than they did when they were in Africa. But you know what? They're in Europe. So there's a belief that one day they will make it. Even if they live on the street begging, doing all that stuff, everywhere you go, these days in Europe, in Italy, you go up to the Scandinavian countries, you see these black people picking up bottles and all that, trying to survive. The thing is, we've lost alignment with who we are. We've adopted everything that's foreign. We believed in everything they've told us about ourselves, and we've lost it. We've lost it. One thing I've realized is that even when you go around the world, you go to the Caribbean, you go to the US, you go to even Brazil, where you find people, African descendants, even in the US, they're there. There's one guy, is a professor, hopefully I remember the name, and he'll tell you, his grandmother was like a priestess or something from way back, from the time of slavery. They've been like that in the family. So they still were holding on to the Africans, or I think it was Yoruba or something like that. And what has happened is that these kids have grown up. Most of them are professors, engineers, whatever. They've done very well in society. If you go around the Caribbean, if you go around Brazil, you're going to find that the people who are still connected to that African spirituality, they tend to do well. They still do the rituals of, kids becoming men. The rest of us don't do that. Church is not going to help us. Jesus Christ is not going to help us. That's not for us. Whether you like it or not, I'm just telling you, I don't even care if you get in your feelings. That's just the truth. Because I tell you what, if it was, we would have been far much better place, because Africa has the highest number of Christians praying day in, day. Some people even not even eating. The money they have, they would rather go and pay tithe and pay offerings and then go home and starve, but start praying for a meal tomorrow. The people have that much faith in them, and yet they're the poorest people in the world. Where's your God? Every foreign religion that's coming and people are ripping us off. They don't like you. If someone doesn't like you, how are they going to give you something that's going to help you? Oh, just think about that. So you go to Tunisia, and the president says they don't want you there. And Tunisia is a Muslim country, but you're also Muslim. So it's not about your religion, it's more about your color, it's about how you look. They would rather be Arabs than be associated with you. Now, that's one thing you have to realize. Secondly, it's like we have to be at home and start fighting for a better tomorrow. How do we do that? Education. Because like I said, some of these people are leaving Africa, going to Europe to go and starve more than they even did in Africa. Some people who are keeping packing bags for people, and they get given something like cents, something like that, just for that. They live pretty much on the street. But hey, we are in Europe, man. If they took the same energy, if from the time they were young there was direction to say, you got plenty of land, here is the land, we'll show you how to grow things, we'll show you to start your own farm. Most of those guys will be doing a lot better. Africa will be feeding the world, because these are young people. Start your own farm, start all these initiatives of something we can work with. If it's If it's mining, we have people into that. If it's farming, we have people into that. But the problem is we've lost our spirituality, Ubuntu. And what do I mean by that? It might be called a different name in Southern Africa. It might be called a different name in East Africa, in West Africa, but I've seen it. It's the same thing. That thing that makes you want to call somebody passing by the street while you eat, and you call them to invite them to come and eat with you. And if they come, you allow them to eat with you. That care of saying, you know what? I am because you are. That is who we are. That is our spirituality. If you really think about it, all our problems will go away if we have that. But we've adopted these political system, these economic systems that are still run and being controlled by foreign colonizers, invaders, still being run by that. How you think they're going to help you? Look at our currencies. Our currencies are crap because they pump and dump, pump and dump all the time. Ghana was doing like the cities, I think it was last year or the year before, was doing amazingly well. And then the next thing, it just plummets. They haven't done anything wrong, but it plummets because guess what? You don't control the banks. You don't control the economics of your own country. It's in foreign hands. If you go to Southern Africa, all their stock markets there are run by Americans and Europeans, most of them from South Africa, but still Americans. Some of the biggest investors are the vanguard of this world, the Black Rock of this world, who invest in this. You think, and what they're doing is that they don't even allow the local Africans to invest in these things. They've monopolized it. They've monopolized everything. So the Africans there, they can't invest, they can't get the dividends. But these guys make excessive profits and they give dividends to the people in Europe and the people in America. And we are watching, they're starving. And you go to church to pray. The same God that these people gave you, who doesn't give a crap about you. We've lost it. We've lost it. And if this continues, it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse. And guess what? No one is gonna want you to go to their country. Nobody. And you start asking yourself why. But I pray so much. But I do this stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. In the future, because I tell you what, if Rwanda continues the way it's going, the country is clean, the people are well behaved. Majority of the people, you can leave your bag, you can leave your room open at a hotel and no one is going to tell you nothing. You can leave a bag on the street, and I'm not saying it's everywhere in Rwanda, but the chances of you finding that bag unattached is quite high compared to the rest of Africa. And guess what that's going to happen? And also they've gone back to basics. We used to live in a society, not communism, but communalism, where if someone is hungry, the community will give them food. So no one goes hungry. And this is, if they want to do something as a community, they all came together and everyone put in the effort and they farmed together, they did everything together. Rwanda has adopted that and it's working. It's called Umuganda in Rwanda. They're building roads, they're building schools, just people. The government doesn't have to pay anybody. Everyone just comes because they've realized one thing. If we build this road, who's going to benefit is us. If we build this school, who's going to benefit? It's our children who are going to go to that school. So in the end, we'll benefit. And that's communalism. Sometimes you don't need to be rich to do things. And if we don't come together with that same spirit, we're never going to go anywhere. If we start following this capitalism and all this stuff, which has just produced people who are greed, who are consumed with greed. And this is what these people do. They choose one person, make him really rich. And you guys think, oh, they're good. Look at that person, he did it. You don't know what that person had to sign up for to get to that stage. We're not controlling anything. They discover gas in Mozambique. Oh, Total is taken over. They discover this. Oh, these guys have taken over. You can't grow an economy with foreign investors. It just doesn't work like that. They are not there to help you. You can pray to whoever you want to pray to. The same God they gave you, and I guarantee you, it does not answer your prayer. The moment you start praying, it does this. Oh, these niggas again. Because he ain't for you. Think, guys. Think. These people ain't racist. It's all about us. Because I tell you what, if in 10 years' time, Every country in Africa looks like Rwanda. You know, Rwanda, they are sending their students to go and study abroad. You know what? 99% of them go back home because there's opportunities. You know, but what's going to happen is because also they got morals, they got good morals. When they go out, there come a time when only Rwandans will be allowed to go and to enter certain countries. If you are Rwandese, your passport, good. The rest of the Africans, no. Why? Why is that? Because of the way we behave. You know, if you look, like I told you, Miami Beach, there's a beach where only black people go. And there's some shootings happening there almost every day. And there's one where white people go and everyone else, every decent other person goes, and it's just fun. You go there, it's relaxed, you can take your kids, it's beautiful. And you guys are behaving like more like idiots. And then everyone cries, oh, the Tunisian president is so racist. I don't know. We are racist because we don't want to pull up, work hard and do something. You go to Morocco, you go to their markets, clean. You go to the so-called, that's why they call you sub-Saharan. We have to stop that. It has to be Greater Africa. You go to most of our markets, it's filthy. So how are people going to respect you? People can respect you if you are poor, right? But people ain't going to respect you if you are filthy, because poverty does not mean be filthy. It doesn't. Not at all. That's why people don't want you. There's nothing more to it. At some point, they didn't even want the Asians in there. But now, all these countries will be actually allowing Asians, because they're coming in there, they're engineers, they're this, they're that. They'll be allowing them in their countries. And when they get into their countries, they're not creating the mess that most of these black kids are creating. You know, kids are out of control. It's black kids, out of control. They're not listening to their parents, they're not doing any of that crap. You know, because we've allowed to be controlled. We've allowed to be controlled. When I was growing up, no one was dying from cancer in Africa. Nobody. And like I told you, the Maasai up to now, because they eat their food. I don't know if you've seen that video where they asked them to taste crackers or chocolate or something, and they said it tasted like crap. And it's true, because there's so much crap in that food. They eat organic food like we used to eat, and they're living up to 100 years. Just in the last few months, I've lost 2 of my young aunties. They're not even 60. They're dying from cancer. This never used to happen. But because of all these, we got these companies that bring in these genetically modified food, and they fool us and say, oh, this is what's going to give you a high yield. And people are buying that crap. And they're growing their food using that crap. All these pesticides and all sorts of crap they've brought in. And we are buying it, thinking that's the way to go. You know, all the crap that we see on TV, people misbehaving, and the kids in Africa are also about to start behaving like that because they think that's how you live. When in actual case, that's actually the wrong way. That's the wrong spirit that we are adopting. That's the wrong spirituality that we are adopting. That's the wrong religion that we are adopting. It's not for us. And it's time for all of you guys to wake up. Don't blame any person for racism. No one is racist. If we took advantage of where we are, if we cleaned up our countries, if we grow our economies, everyone is going to respect us. Remember, the Chinese were also called, they were half or 3/4 of a human being. Today, the doors are wide open. Even every country wants a Chinese tourist. Because you know what? Money. They got money. You know, you want to start behaving like people, and no one is going to disrespect you. You know, you can't be out there behaving like an animal and everyone expects you to be like a human. No. I don't even care. Some instances, yes, there's racism and all that stuff, but we give people reasons to say, oh, you know what? That's what I'm talking about. And I've seen that way too much. Way too much. So actually, I'll flip the coin. We are the racist one because we don't want to create a better environment for everyone. Because I tell you what, the reason why there's even so much issues in the world right now, because everyone is trying to go to the same places. You know, the biggest continent is out there. We should be having people lining up, trying to come into Africa. Lining up every day, trying to come into Africa. Better quality of life, better food, better everything. But no, we think we need to adopt what those people have for us to be better. Why do you think white people started leaving Europe and trying to go everywhere? So if you go to South America, who's there? Oh, South America is just white people who ran away from their own continent. But then they convince us that we were backwards. when we had the animals, they ate all the animals there. We had the better soil. They messed up all their soil up there. We had all the minerals. They finished up all theirs. Tell me one country that produces gold in the West, in Western Europe. They finished it all. We looked at the environment. We were not greedy. We didn't sort of mess up our soils. But now we are copying the same thing and thinking, oh, this is the way to live, instead of realizing and trying to create our own society. Singapore did it. How has Singapore done it? In Singapore, if you are hungry, they'll give you food. If you want a job, they'll give you a job. There's no street paper there. They didn't adopt the UK system. They didn't adopt the American system. They created their own, which is better. As Africans, we can use that as the starting point, but we can even create something even better than Singapore. But we ain't doing that. We are trying to copy capitalism the way it's been given to us. Look at the judicial system. It's crap. That's why people are so corrupted, because the judicial system we've copied is corrupt from where we've copied from. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's change how we think and how we see things. Let's start blaming ourselves first. Blame ourselves first before we blame anybody. That's the only way change is going to come. Thank you. Goodbye.